Hello, my name is Ellie Dorr, and I'm here today to talk about why you should care about climate change. So, yes, climate change historically is a natural process. So why is it a problem today? Because man-made issues are making the climate change 250 times faster than it would on its own. And climate change is a very interesting subject because it's one of the few problems in the world that will affect every single person on the planet. But yet people deny it, they won't do anything to help change it, and it's very ignored and overlooked for a problem that affects everybody. So, what are some causes to climate change and some of their effects? So, some causes are deforestation, emissions, and intense agriculture. So, why are these a problem? They are a problem because it affects the rate of greenhouse gas, the greenhouse gas effect. Overall, the greenhouse gas effect is a very, very good thing and key to our survival. So why are these issues a problem? So the greenhouse effect, it's where the atmosphere traps the warmth of the sun. And us speeding up this process of greenhouse gas, we're trapping more heat than we need, and therefore causing a lot of issues like rising sea levels, which if we don't do anything about it and all the ice melts on the poles, we will lose most of the East Coast, a huge portion of Morocco, most of Louisiana, all of Florida, all of the Netherlands, basically all the lowlands in Europe, mostly the East Coast of the United States, a little bit of part of the West Coast in Africa, the Southeast Coast, like Melbourne area in Australia, and this is also a problem. Not only are we losing land and resources, is that this will cause extreme poverty and displacement, and resources will be spread thin, which losing all this land we will lose certain resources, such as different species of plants and animals. It will cause a global catastrophe outside of just the human race. Also, a thing that will happen is that storms will become more frequent and severe. A good example of this would be Hurricane Helene. We don't see hurricanes in the middle of Tennessee. So why do we see a hurricane in the middle of Tennessee and just in Appalachia? Well, before the hurricanes, that area got a lot of rain, and the fuel for hurricanes is warm water. So as it's making its path, it's able to grab that warm water that usually is not there from the soil and just keep going, and those places don't have the infrastructure for hurricanes because they don't get them. So therefore, that's an example of how it could cause poverty, because these areas are devastated, and Appalachia is already a poor area of the country. And same with tornadoes. Warm air is the fuel for tornadoes. So therefore, the more the temperature rises, the more severe these things are going to happen, because there's more warm air, more warm water, which if we don't fix the issue, there's going to be a permanent 3 degrees permanent increase in temperature between 2026 and 2042, which doesn't sound like a big deal, but like when you think of like places in the Arctic, that's a huge deal, especially if we don't stop it. Another issue is plastic. What makes plastic so bad compared to all other waste? So plastic was actually invented in 1907, which is very, very recent whenever we talk about organisms that eat or the trash, the microorganisms that break us down. Nothing is able to digest plastic, so therefore there's just plastic sitting there forever because there's nothing there to break it down. Stuff doesn't get broke down just out of nowhere. It's broken down by organisms, and if there's nothing there to eat it, it will just sit there, and it could kill things like whenever it gets in the ocean. Like I'm sure we all seen the soda plastics that keep their bottles together around turtles' necks, penguins' necks, and just like it just gets everywhere, and we make so much of it, and we haven't really seen the decrease. So, in conclusion, climate change is something that people need to start paying attention to and start caring, because it might not affect you today, it might not affect you tomorrow, but it will affect you eventually. If not you, your children, your grandchildren, and it's something that it's entirely our fault, so we need to take accountability for it, because at the end of the day, the earth will still be here, but we will not. So it's in our hands to do something about it.